Hello, today I am going to show how to draw a base-mounted shaft support. And uh, this is, I chose this part more because of uh, the way to draw it than its real complexity. It's a real easy part. Um, but first we start by, we've opened Autodesk Inventor. We click on Part right here. You can also click New here, and then it brings up Standard IPT, which is the same as Part. So we'll just double click on that. And let it load. Alrighty. So hopefully most everything should be basically the same in this version as your version. This is Inventor 2017. But we start by clicking 2D Sketch up here. We click on which face we want to draw on. We'll click the front face or the XY plane. So we click on that, and we can see from this box over here that we are now facing this plane. Now, how this program might differ from how you would draw a part in AutoCAD or Mastercam is usually it's easiest to just draw the part just quickly without having any regard to having the dimensions correct or anything. So this base mount for a shaft looks something like this. Now this isn't exact, and I don't really care too much about being exact. Just that it has the basic shape of what I'm going for. So if we click F8, we can look at the constraints that Inventor has decided to place here for us, kind of just based off of how we drew it. So the middle point is fixed, and that's always going to be there. This baseline right here has a horizontal constraint, so we know it's going to be horizontal, and it's parallel to this one, or rather this line is parallel to this line. This line is perpendicular, as we can see here. This line's perpendicular to that line. These two lines don't have any constraints besides the coincident constraints that are shown by these yellow square dot type things. Another perpendicular constraint here. So I click F8 to turn those back off. First thing I'm going to do is constrain the middle of this line to this point right here. It's kind of to set up some symmetry. So I click on the coincident constraint right there. I go to the middle of this line, find that where it has that green point, and then I'll show that message. Click there, then click on that point, and it moved the center of that line to my origin, which is where I wanted it. Next thing we'll do is draw a center line to establish a symmetry. So we'll just draw that right there. Click OK. I right clicked right there, and then I click OK. We will make sure this has a vertical constraint. It said it already had that vertical constraint, so we're not going to worry about that. We'll turn this into a center line by clicking on it and then coming up here to Format and clicking on Center Line. And now we can do another coincident constraint to put that point in the middle of this line. Okay. One more thing, we will click on the symmetry constraint right here. You click on the two objects you want to be symmetrical first, and then you click on the center line to make them symmetrical. And I believe we could keep constraining these other lines to be symmetric, but I believe that based off of these two lines being constrained to the middle and these lines being symmetric, everything else should be already symmetric. So the next thing we'll do is start adding in some dimensions. So first, the overall height of this thing is 1 inch, 1 3/4 inches, so 1.75. And you'll see as I enter that first dimension in that it scaled the entire thing. Next thing we'll do is right here, that is 1/4 inch. And then I'll constrain these 2 points right here. So these are the points that I measured when drawing this thing initially. So this one is 0.875, and between these 2 points is 2.5. Excuse me, that was wrong. Yep, entered the wrong dimension in. You can just click on it there and change that to 1.313. It looks a little better. And then the distance between these 2 points is 2.5. And you'll see right here we have 1 dimension left, so we know as soon as I add that dimension, we should be fully constrained. So we'll change that to 2.5. There you go. And that looks approximately the shape of how we want it to look. Next we'll come up here and click on circle. I'll just click some arbitrary point along this line, and we'll make that 0.625. Okay. We have 1 dimension left, so we know that we just need to constrain the height of this. We'll just do that. We know we want to be 1 inch away from the bottom. Click there and there. I'm not sure exactly how I made it exactly 1 inch, but I already had it exactly where I need it to be. Normally I would have entered in 1 inch right there. Okay, so the final thing we have to do is this slot up here. So I will do that by zoom in right here. Just make 2 lines coming down like that. Okay, we want these lines to be symmetrical, so click on both of the lines and then our center line. And then we will click right here and enter in our dimension, which is 0.0625. Perfect. I'm going to check how much time I have left right here. Okay, about 2 minutes, so I'm going to make this quick. This program has a 10-minute maximum on it. Okay, I have all my constraints right here. Now I would like to really get rid of this line. I think the easiest way to get rid of that line will be well, 2 things we can do. We can either trim it, which for the trim command in Inventor, I just click on the line I want to trim and it does the rest. Although you see that removed a few constraints and messed things up a little bit. An alternative to that would be to click on split, so that is going to break this line up into more lines. So you see, as I'm using the split command, it'll show X's where it's going to put in splits in the line. So I put a split there and a split there. And then I just come over here and hold in Control while I click on on these 3 lines and change them to construction lines. And now they are not counted as lines, so if I was to extrude this slot would extrude just fine. And that is it. I can show you how to do the fillets real quick. Once again, as I plan to say during the lecture, I don't typically like to use the fillet command in this just because I can't go back and edit it. It just doesn't work for some reason. So you basically have to get the fillets right the first time. So okay, have it at 1/16 of an inch. Click on those 2 lines. You can also just click on the center point, yeah, like that. And there we go. There are our fillets, and that is our drawing complete. So you just say finish sketch, and we would be ready to extrude that from here, as you can see right there. And that is it.